Birds fans, the time is now. The time is now to pick up either Dylan Cease or Michael King. Are you willing to give up Jordan Westburg? Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. So glad to have you along. Second day of spring training, and already the headlines talking about, hey, the rest of the East has improved tremendously. The Orioles have spent a lot of money, but still lack a frontline starter. Should they now finally pull the trigger to get Dylan Cease and or Michael King? But we'll focus mostly on Dylan Cease. Like, subscribe. We got you every day of spring training, every day of the regular season. We're talking Orioles. We're talking what we all love. Let's start with the headline right here. Sports Illustrated had it. The Orioles should go all in for a trade for the Padres ace. And the subhead, of course, the Orioles need to make an aggressive push to complete a trade with the Padres. The first thing I want you to comment on is, do you agree with that premise that the Orioles need to make an aggressive push to complete a trade with the Padres? And do you believe that that aggressive push needs to be for Dylan Cease? Think about it for a moment. Let's get to Dylan Cease's stats before we talk about what the Orioles will probably have to give up should they want this ace. Now, remember, we all know Corbin Burnes is gone. Corbin Burnes occupied that top spot. Corbin Burnes was a one-year rental. Let's look at Cease's numbers. 33 games, 189 innings, only 18 long balls. He Ks a lot of guys, doesn't give up many hits, has a sub 3.5 ERA, a 1.067 whip. Look, Dylan Cease is a bona fide frontline starter, an ace. Yes, he is a one-year rental, but, as I just said, Dylan Cease is indeed an ace. Now the question becomes, do you think we need somebody else atop the rotation? I'm going to argue this point, my friends, before we get to what the Orioles will have to give up. I'm going to argue that I think the Orioles don't have to make this move, but I think the Orioles should make this move. I think the Orioles are still deep enough in the farm system that they can part with some top prospects and maybe even a bona fide major leaguer. I know you're all going to disagree with me. Let's talk about what it has been reported that the Padres want for Dylan Cease. They want one of either, it appears, we can get to the, it appears they want one of either Jordan Westburg, obviously starting lineup, major league player, Coby Mayo, we know about Coby, Samuel Basallo. So, what would you give up between Jordy and Coby Mayo and Basallo? You're not going to like what I have to say, but I say I would give up one or two of the three. Basallo is going to be stuck behind Adley. Yes, he's super talented, but at some point, you have to go to win now. At some point, okay? I would be willing to part with Coby Mayo. Huge upside. I know the Orioles balked at this, but again, at some point, you have to go for it. And, you know, Samuel Basallo also, I might have misspoke for a second about what Basallo obviously is behind Adley. Jordan is a bona fide major leaguer slotted in, and Coby Mayo is a young and upcoming stud, okay? Again, do I think we absolutely have to make this move in order to be contenders? No, I don't think we absolutely have to. I think Grayson and Zach Eflin can hold down the rotation for long enough for us to hopefully get back the likes of Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. And again, as I've spoken about, I think the bullpen is strong enough that you need your starter to go 5 innings, 6 innings or so, get you to that bullpen. But I want the Orioles to do this. And I'll tell you why. A, it will bring a certain buzz around the club and around the Orioles that is needed. Kind of a shot in the arm. Yes, there's a ton of good young talent. We know that. But we also have a lot on the farm. And later on, I'm going to walk through my next piece, walk through the top kind of 8 to 10 Orioles prospects. And you're going to see what I mean about how deep we are. And so we can afford to part with somebody. And you're going to say, well, I don't want to do a 1-year rental. But if a 1-year rental gets you the World Series, then a 1-year rental gets you the World Series. We talked about Dylan Cease. Talk a little bit about Michael King. Apparently King, the Padres also want to get rid of some of his salary. So this is a guy, too, who could add a great dimension to the Orioles. 173 innings, 200 Ks, a sub-3 ERA. King could add a much-needed arm to the rotation and make the rotation that much better in this coming year. And I would say if we can get Michael King without the asking price being too high, absolutely. Obviously, you're not going to give up a Kobe Mayo or probably a Jordan Westburg for him, but I'm okay with giving up something if you get Michael King. And then finally, you got to look at Westy. We all love Jordan Westburg. He's a stud. He's a major league player. But sometimes you have to give up major league players in order to get strong aces and major league players. So Westy had 18 dingers, 63 runs batted in. He gets a lot of hits, and he's a guy who is just a great guy to have in the lineup because he can do so many things. But again, I come back to this. I agree with this premise that the Orioles should go all in for a trade. I also would be willing to part with one of Jordan Westburg, Kobe Mayo, or Samuel Basallo, even though so far it appears the Orioles have balked at that. But sometimes you have to give up something to get something great. This is Orioles Digest. Please like, subscribe. We'll talk to you very soon as spring training rolls on.